What if your preteen child is not interested in learning or going to school? Learning in school or going to school, they're just not interested. What can you do to encourage them? Rabbi Klatzko.
Okay, so kids, normal kids don't love school. So
Wow.
don't be surprised. The truth is, if a kid comes to a parent and really doesn't like school, as a parent, it's our job to find out what's going on, because very often there could be things going on that we're not aware of. Your child may be bullied, and your child could even be bullied by a teacher. Teachers could also be bullies, and they could be picked on. And the child could be made fun of because let's say your child doesn't take as many baths or showers, and the kids are making fun of your child because he smells, or there are reasons why. Or it could be that you assume the child's done their homework, but they haven't day after day, and the teacher is giving them grief, so the child doesn't want to go to school, or the child doesn't know the material and there's a test and the child feels silly and stupid. So in general, if a child is a well-adjusted child and suddenly they don't want to go to school, you should really do the research, and you should call up the school and speak to the teacher and sit down with the child and really find out, especially, for example, some children are sick very often. You know, they're like always sick. They always have a headache. Their throat is always hurting. And, you know, we're living in a very different age now. It used to be, and this is when I was growing up, school was a little bit of a rough place for a child. There was still smacking in the school. There was still harsh discipline. Things changed 20, 25 years ago, and they keep getting upgraded, and there's much more awareness than there ever was about how fragile a child's psyche could be, and how we have to be into positive reinforcement. A school today could really be a place that a child enjoys. And that's a new thing. That has not always been like that. It used to be the child could tolerate it and feel good if they did well on tests, but they couldn't enjoy school. Today, if you've been careful to send your child to a good Jewish school that has Rabbeim and teachers and moras who are well trained, I have found that in general, my children, when they're doing well, they actually like school. They like their teachers, they like the moras, they like the schools. So if a child suddenly doesn't like school, it is more unusual than it used to be, where children obviously didn't like it because the discipline was very harsh, and teachers weren't that into the newer methods of understanding what children need and the positive reinforcement and the picking up. So that's just one point. There are children who are just not academically inclined. So you have to make up your mind at a certain point, what do you want out of your kid? If you insist that a kid who's not so academically inclined get A's and hundreds, then the kid's gonna be scared of you. They're gonna be scared to tell you the truth that they're not so good in math and they're not so good in science, and it's gonna be difficult. So the chinuch that I got from my parents was the most important thing is effort and conduct. Show that you have good conduct, show you have derech eretz, show that you are nice, you don't speak back, you don't have chutzpah. Show that you're a nice kid, you're trying your best. My wife and I, we don't look at the kids' grades. The kids come to us when they have good grades, and Baruch Hashem, very often they do. And if there's a major problem, we'll do something about it. But we understand that our children are built differently. And ultimately, most of this does not matter by the time they're grown-ups. My daughter just said to me, we're starting geometry. She said, Tati, how many times did you use geometry in your career? I said, a grand total of 0. I said, if schools were smart, they would drop geometry and they would teach graphic design on a computer. And then you have kids who can make a living instead of teaching things that they did so many years ago. But today, they're still doing it, and some kids are not academically inclined. So the most important thing, and I hate to sound so new age, is that your child should be happy and should have a good self-esteem, understand what your principles are, and don't worry about the grades. Worry that your child is adjusting emotionally in a healthy way, and on their own, they're going to want to try their best, and they'll get whatever grades they're able to achieve, and they'll want to go to school. But if you sit on top of them with the grades and the homework and you punish them, then they're not going to want to go to school, especially if they're having problems academically. And again, check out what the social situation is in their school. It's our responsibility as parents to find out if our kids are being bullied, and we have to do something about it. We don't let it go, because that's our job. We're mama bear, we're papa bear. We have to stand up for our kids. And we have to get to the bottom of why a kid doesn't want to go to school.
Very well said. I especially like the way you said that you care about the effort, not the results. That is so amazing. What a positive way to parent.